We had a very lively debate in our session talking about whether 21st century marketing is being locked into 20th century marketing theory. And we talked a lot about the difference between System 1 and System 2 thinking and how it's going to influence and in some cases revolutionise the way we think about planning our communications and building brand. We had a really interesting discussion about the changing marketing theory and whether, with the pace of change, have we been left with a load of, marketing frameworks that are no longer relevant. People talking about the purchase funnel and AIDA and all those models sort of born of the 20th century, and yet we're sort of all sat here looking at this smorgasbord of digital opportunities and going, how do we sort of apply what are over, quite simplified models to this new world. I think one of the interesting points that was raised was whether the 20th century was really a marketing world obsessed with increasing consideration, and actually now with the learnings we have about how the brain works and how the System 1 system dominates decision making, actually the 21st century should be about us as an industry striving to ensure that people decrease consideration. We talked a lot about education, the importance of educating people, and I think there was some beliefs that there's quite a few theories that are still in common parlance out there that actually should die and be consigned to a little bit of a marketing theory graveyard, but at the same time there's certain principles within them that are useful. So I think that, the team discussed the importance of actually rigorously sort of re-evaluating every single tool that we've got at this point to say, is it still relevant or isn't it still relevant, and take the learnings from that and educate across all levels, from the C-suite, financial directors, obviously marketeers and agency people, right through down to those youngsters who are joining our industry for the first time. About the IPA, case studies are often in the main stories about growth and striving and almost fixating on growth, and actually one of the people in one of the groups was from the finance team at a client, and she said actually one of the most powerful things you can talk to us about is the risk of inaction. What would happen if you stopped or didn't change what you were doing or didn't increase your presence in a marketplace? And actually that for them might be more powerful a message as talking about this sort of ephemeral idea of maybe gaining something in the future, this kind of dream of growth, is to be a bit more practically minded and say, okay, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen.